Thank you very much. Distinguished members of council, esteemed faculty, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to witness and affirm the formal inauguration of the Accra Met School of Law Advisory Board. This ceremony signifies not merely appointment, but the acceptance of governance responsibility, institutional stewardship, and public trust. The inauguration of the Legal Advisory Board marks a significant milestone in the institutional development of Accra Met's School of Law. The board has been carefully constituted to provide strategic direction, professional oversight, curriculum relevance, ethical guidance, and industry integration for the Accra Met law programs. The board brings together 8 distinguished members of the bench, the bar, academia, industry, and public service to steer the strategic mandate in strengthening legal education and professional foundation at Accra Met. This inaugural ceremony will formally inaugurate the board, outline its mandate, and present the strategic vision for the School of Law. I'll now call upon the Vice Chancellor to introduce and indicate the mandate of the Advisory Board. Thank you.
Our chair and our founder, members of council, Nime, Name, honorable justices, members of the bar, members of council, esteemed guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Today marks a defining moment in the evolution of the School of Law at Accra Metropolitan University. This distinguished board, composed of eminent members of the bench, the bar, academia, and public service, and has been constituted to provide strategic direction, professional oversight, and ethical guidance of the law programs. The mandate of the Legal Advisory Board is very clear and also solemn. Firstly, it is to safeguard the academic and professional standards of Accra Met School of Law, ensuring that our curriculum remains rigorous, relevant, and responsive to national and global developments. Secondly, it is to guide ethical and professional formation of our students, nurturing not only competent lawyers, but principled leaders committed to justice and national development. Thirdly, it is to strengthen the integration between academia and practice, building bridges between the university, the judiciary, law firms, industry, and public institutions. Next, it is to provide strategic counsel on the long-term development of the School of Law at Accra Met, including program innovation, research leadership, clinical legal education, and international partnerships. Lastly, but not the least, is to enhance the visibility and reputation of Accra Met as a center of excellence in legal education, ethical governance, and professional leadership. This board serves in an advisory capacity, offering its wisdom, experience, and independent counsel to the Vice Chancellor and also to the Governing Council where it becomes necessary. In accepting this mandate, members of the Legal Advisory Board are committed, one, to upholding the highest standards of integrity and professional conduct, guarding against conflict of interest, promoting independence of legal education, serving as ambassadors of justice, scholarship, and once again, ethical governance and leadership. Today, we affirm that the School of Law at Accra Met will not merely produce graduates, it will shape custodians of justice. It will not merely teach law, it will cultivate responsibility. It will not merely award degrees, but it will form character. May this legal advisory board stand as a pillar of wisdom, a guardian of standards, and a beacon of integrity for generations to come. On behalf of Accra Metropolitan University, we formally thank you, each and every member of the advisory board, for accepting to be entrusted with this distinguished responsibility. May your counsel strengthen our institution. May your wisdom guide our students, and may your service advance justice and national development. And now may I say that long live the School of Law at Accra Metropolitan University, long live our university, Accra Met, and long live Ghana. Shall we give a round of applause? You will agree with me that we couldn't have had it any better. The members that have been put together as we begin to receive their introduction, we will recognize and realize the power of the team that have been blessed and gifted to Accra Met. Shall we now have the introductions played for us? And after that, we would have the chairman come to do the affirmation. Thank you. As we wait for the introductions to be ready, may I respectfully call on the council representative sitting in as chair today, Dr. David Waku, to do the affirmations, and then the introductions will follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And all protocol duly observed. Members of the advisory board, kindly rise up and step forward, please. Please rise up, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. In the presence of the academic community and assembled witnesses, I affirm that, then you put your full name, please. Accept the appointment of the office of, if you are chair, you say chair, the others will say members, please. Of the advisory board of the Accra Met School of Law, duly made in accordance with the Charter and the statutes of Accra Metropolitan University. I recognize that leadership with this university is exercised with a framework of governance, accountability, institutional integrity, and collective responsibility. As an advisory board chair or member, I pledge to provide lawful oversight, to safeguard and autonomy and mission of the School of Law, to uphold the highest standard of legal education and professional ethics, to offer independent, honest, and constructive counsel in the best interest of the School of Law and the university. So help me God.
If you have your brochures, kindly turn to the page with the membership, and I would read the introduction of each member. The 8-member board is chaired by no other person than Sir Dominic Adjei. Sir Dominic Adjei is a judge of the Supreme Court of Ghana and a serving judge of the African Court on Human and People's Rights. Justice Adjei stands amongst the foremost legal minds on the African continent. He's only the second Ghanaian to serve on that esteemed continental court, a testament to his depth of learning and an impeccable judicial character. Educated at the University of Ghana, the Ghana School of Law, the University of London, and Duke University School of Law in the United States, he combines global scholarship with grounded national service. His distinguished career spans judicial leadership, academic excellence, law reform, and international advisory roles, including service with the International Court and leadership within the African Judicial Network on Environmental Law. A prolific author, legal scholar, and a mentor, 2 generations of lawyers and judges, Sir Justice Adjei has spanned Ghana's jurisprudence through landmark decisions, influential textbooks, and enduring institutional reform. His commitment to justice is matched only by the devotion to service, to the church, to education, and to the rule of law across Africa. Knighted by His Holiness Pope Benedict XVI In recognition of his moral leadership and service, he embodies wisdom with humility, authority with compassion, and power with accountability. As he assumes the chair today, we are confident that under his guidance, this body will be strengthened by clarity of thought, firmness of principle, and deep commitment to justice, integrity, and international excellence. Justice said Dennis Dominic Adjei, we honor your service and we celebrate your leadership, and we are proud to inaugurate you as chair today. Shall you rise for an applause? Shall we have some fanfare, please? Fanfare for our chair? Yes. The next would be Justice Jones Victor Maulom Dotse. Justice Jones Maulom Dotse is a retired Ghanaian judge who served as a justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana for 15 years until his mandatory retirement on 8 June 2023, having been elevated from the Court of Appeal bench. A native of Kpando in Ghana's Volta region, Justice Dotse began his legal career after graduating with an LLB from the University of Ghana in 1976. I was only 6 years old then. And being called to the bar in 1978, accumulating over 2 decades of practice before his judicial appointment as a High Court judge in 2002. He concurrently held a position on the Supreme Court of the Gambia, sworn in 2008, reflecting his regional judicial influence. As the most senior Supreme Court justice following Chief Justice Kwesi Ening-Yeboah retirement in 2023, Justice Dotse briefly acted as Chief Justice until the appointment of Justice Gertrude Tokuno's confirmation. His tenure included presiding over high-profile cases in which he was praised for his strong stance against corruption in landmark cases such as the Martin Alemisi and Amadou V, the Attorney General, the Waterville Holdings BV1 Limited, and Alfred Agbesi Woyome, amongst others. Justice Dotse's career emphasized judicial independence. Though reports have highlighted perception, we believe that he is the best that can be gifted to us at this time. In his post-retirement, he has advocated for chiefs' political neutrality and reform to policies like free SHS and sustainability. Justice Dotse, we are blessed to have you. Shall we have a fanfare for him? Thank you. We now move on to Justice Alexander Osei Tutu, JA. Justice Alexander Osei Tutu, Justice of the Court of Appeal of Ghana, is eminently qualified for appointment to the Advisory Board of Accra Met School of Law. He brings over 16 years of distinguished judicial service, rising from the Circuit Court to the Court of Appeal, with recognized expertise in land law, civil procedure, and constitutional interpretation. His judgments and scholarly writings have significantly influenced contemporary Ghanaian jurisprudence. Academically, he holds an LLM in international law and justice from Fordham University School of Law in the US and lectures at the Ghana School of Law. He is also an examiner of the General Legal Council and a faculty member of the Judicial Training Institute, directly shaping the training of judges and lawyers in the country. Justice Osei Tutu's integrity, scholarship, and judicial leadership make him a strategic and highly credible addition to the Law School Advisory Board. Justice Osei Tutu. We have Professor Justice Olivia Anku Tsede. Professor Justice Olivia Anku Tsede is a distinguished Ghanaian judge, accomplished legal academic, and corporate and commercial law expert with over 25 years standing at the bar. She currently serves as a justice of the Court of Appeal of Ghana, having been appointed in December 2022, where she contributes to the adjudication of appeals from the High Court, regional tribunals, and also circuit courts. Professor Justice Anku Tsede is also a respected academic. She has served as Associate Professor of Regulation and Organization in the Department of Organization and Human Resource Management of the University of Ghana Business School, and as a legal counsel of the University of Ghana, where she played a key role in institutional governance and legal strategy. Her scholarship spans financial security, microfinance, cooperative legal studies, and research methodology, amongst others, as well as several public publications, including in international journals. She holds a Doctor of Philosophy in Law from the University of Manchester School of Law, a qualifying certificate BL from the Ghana School of Law, and a Bachelor of Laws LLB degree from the University of Ghana. She is a notary public certified by the General Legal Council, Teaching Council of Scotland, and qualified teacher in business management for higher education, and licensed by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority as an independent trustee for pension funds. Prior to her judicial appointment, she built extensive private and corporate legal practice working with Akufo-Addo, Prempe & Co. and Awono Law Consultancy before establishing her own practice. She has served as transaction advisor and consultant on numerous local and cross-border projects involving complex multi-party negotiations. Her experience assures us of the quality that she brings to the advisory board. Justice Olivia Tsede, thank you so much. You are indeed a treasure and also a role model for generations to come. We'll now have Professor Abubakar Issa Umar. Professor Abubakar Issa Umar is a distinguished scholar of international law and jurisprudence and an accomplished legal practitioner and a serving, respected academic leader. A professor of law and current dean of the Faculty of Law at Bayero University, Kano. He holds a PhD in law from the University of Portsmouth, the United Kingdom. His expertise spans international economic law, investment and trade arbitration, and global governance. With an impressive record of scholarly publications, editorial leadership, and international conference engagements, Professor Umar has made significant contributions to the development of international law, sustainable development discourse, and arbitration practice in Africa. As managing partner of Century Attorney and member of a leading professional bodies including the International Bar Association and the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators London, he bridges academia excellence with practical impact. Through decades of teaching, supervision, institutional leadership, and service on Senate and key university committees, Professor Umar has demonstrated unwavering commitment to legal scholarship, integrity, and the advancement of justice at both national and international level. His inclusion in the board brings to bear the international character of the Accra Met Legal Advisory Board. Shall we now celebrate Professor Umar? We now come to lawyer Victor Kojoga Adawudu, the director of the Accra Met School of Law. Lawyer Victor Kojoga Adawudu is an accomplished Ghanaian legal practitioner and regulatory strategist with nearly 2 decades of distinguished leadership across corporate law, capital markets, regulation, and energy governance. As a barrister at law and managing partner of Lord and Lord's Legal Practitioners, he has built and led a premier corporate law firm recognized for excellence in litigation, constitutional law, cross-border investment, and regulatory compliance. Mr. Adawudu served as Commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission of Ghana from 2014 to 2017, where he provided executive oversight for Ghana's security industry, chaired key committees on market development and corporate governance, and contributed to the implementation of regulatory reform aligned with international best practice, including IOSCO standards. He holds a Master of Laws LLM in Energy Law, Policy and Practice from the University of Ghana, an MBA from China Europe International Business School, and is currently pursuing a PhD in Leadership and Sustainable Governance here at the Accra Metropolitan University. His career reflects a rare blend of legal acumen, strategic business insight, regulatory expertise, and unwavering commitment to his profession. Mr. Adawudu is widely celebrated as a thought leader in corporate governance and trusted advisor to multinational corporations, financial institutions, and public sector entities, bringing vision, discipline, and strong leadership to the very institution he belongs to here, Accra Met. Lawyer Adawudu, congratulations. There is one more. Now we come to one of the legal luminaries that we have in this country. His name really rings a bell, and we couldn't even summarize his accolades. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy now to introduce lawyer Thaddeus Sory. Lawyer Thaddeus Sory, Esquire, is also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators in the UK, and he's one of Ghana's most distinguished legal minds. Called to the bar in 1999 after training at the Ghana School of Law and the University of Ghana, he has led major constitutional, corporate, banking, and criminal cases at the highest level of our courts. As a fellow of the Institute of Arbitrations UK and a respected arbitrator himself, he is widely recognized for strategic legal thinking and courtroom excellence. He's been described by chambers and partners as the battle horse, who knows all the procedures. Lawyer Sory exemplifies intellectual rigor, integrity, and fearless advocacy. Accra Met is privileged to have his wisdom on the School of Law Advisory Board here at Accra Met. We celebrate you, Lawyer Thaddeus. Sorry. And now I'd like to introduce the secretary to the board, who also brings youthful mind and youthful perspective to the work of the board. And she's no other than lawyer Naomi Alabi. Naomi Bole Alabi Esquire holds an LLB from the University of Portsmouth. She was taught by Professor Abubakar. And so there is no doubt that Professor Abubakar also contributed to the development of this program. She also holds an LLM from the University of Law in UK, and she is a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK. Lawyer Naomi is therefore a dual qualified legal practitioner, governance advisor, and academic with demonstrated expertise in corporate governance, regulatory compliance, institutional policy development, and legal education. As secretary to the Law School Advisory Board, she brings a structured, policy-driven, and governance-oriented approach and youthfulness to the board's administration. Lawyer Naomi, we celebrate you and we thank you for your work in putting together the program. We also celebrate Sir Dennis for his anchoring work in making sure that the LLB program that was developed on his labs really meets national and international standards. We thank you, Sir Dennis. And then, I have the privilege of also introducing Lawyer William Botry, who is the coordinator at the law school. And I believe that much of the administrative support and the coordination of students would be done by him operationally to support the board and the director. Lawyer Botry, we celebrate you for your tireless work in bringing all of us here this afternoon. Thank you. At this point, I would like to call on the founder of the university before we have the response from Sir Dennis Adjei, and then we will take an address from Lawyer Susu. Honorable Dr. Lawyer Susu, let us acknowledge him. Before he comes up to address us, we would like to have the oath of secrecy administered for the board by the founder. Please.
No, not really. The chairperson of the board, members of the board, leaders that we have here who will be leading us in the law faculty here, it is there's one message, and that is excellence. When we were drafting the NDC manifesto before the election, we were very clear in our mind about the reforms that we wanted to embark with the legal profession. And thank God it's going through the process. This simply means that if you have a law faculty and you don't do well, everybody will see you. Because they'll all be going to write an exam. And when you don't have even one of your students passing the exam, no student will choose your institution. It means that we have a lot of work to do as a young faculty. But I'm very confident that with the team that we have and the lecturers that we have assembled, the students will go through the right rigor. It's like we said in the military, difficult in the training ground, but easy on the battlefield. So when you go for your professional exams, you will sail through without difficulty. When we started this school, we were clear in our mind what we wanted. At that time, there was no online university in this country. So of course we faced a lot of challenges, especially from the accreditation bodies. Because we were rather teaching them what you need to have an online university. Our life came when we had COVID, and the world changed fast to online universities, and now it is accepted worldwide. That does not mean that the quality of products that will be turning out will be inferior. For me, it's more difficult to go through an online university than the bricks and mortar one, because the processes that you have to go through to pass, if it is done very well, then you have qualified and very good students. I would not like to go through a lot of talks, but I'm really very excited that today we have this, and more excited looking at the caliber of people who will be leading us in this program. I've never done law as a profession before. I did law, what do you call it, law of contract in my management studies. And I can still give you some of the definitions that I chewed without understanding when I was in university. I've been challenging my daughter in the house. I tell her that a contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more people, which is enforceable in law court. A contract must have an essential elements of what do you call it? So you talk of offer and acceptance, consideration, intention to be. That's what I know. And sometimes they get surprised. Many years ago, I say, I have this in my head. On this note, I thank all of you for coming, and God bless all of us. Yeah?
We would now like to invite the chairman, Justice Dennis, for his response.
Founder of the university, Met University, Vice Chancellor, Council members, invited guests, my colleagues who have just been sworn in as members of the Legal Advisory Board. It is a pleasure to be with you. You know, the founder of the university who did a contract for 1 year was able to recite what is contract and the basic ingredients of contract. That shows that law is an interesting subject, even though it is somehow compressed. We are very, very grateful for the honor done us this evening to be here and be appointed to proffer advice in various forms to the law faculty of this university. I always say that if you travel outside Ghana, and we are talking about enviable universities, they are mostly the private-owned ones. If you go to America, schools like Duke and others, they are all private universities. But if you come to Africa in general, because of cost of tuition and others, we always defer to the state universities. So I think we should work hard to ensure that this school becomes one of the enviable universities on the continent. Looking at the expertise of the people that we have, including international, there is one professor from United Kingdom who is among us. And if you are talking about the legal practice, the law practice, as the Vice Chancellor said, we have some of the legal luminaries in Ghana being part of us. Then when it comes to blending law and academia, we have one professor who is a Justice of the Court of Appeal among us. We have Justice Dotse, who chaired the university at home for barely 8 years or so. We have Justice Osei, Tutu, and others who have been lecturing. And I was listening to Prof when he said that, Prof found out when he said that if you ask the private schools which are new to compete with the established schools, there's likely to be situation where those from the public schools would emerge. I would like to say that some of the private schools do quite well in the entrance examination. And this one I can say it in my capacity as the chairperson for the independent examination. Council members, we assure you that the role that we are to perform to ensure standards are maintained, we are going to ensure and advise curriculum development, which is very, very paramount in supporting a fresh faculty such as this one. Then in addition to what you have assigned to us, it is our duty to also help the students with internships. Now students do internship. We must ensure that they get good firms, good chambers, so that at the end of the day it becomes attractive. People talk about one particular university in Ghana by virtue of internship and attachment that they do, and they travel, some of them travel outside the jurisdiction. And we hope, with your support, we'll be able to do. So we are going to promote internships, mentorships, and career developments. And we are also willing to offer expertise on policy making and governance of the faculty. On this note, we say thank you, and we thank everybody who is here to support us. And we need your prayers to ensure that this school becomes one of the best universities in the world. Thank you.
We would now like to call on Honorable Dr. Xavier Sosu, who is coming in to speak as a lawmaker and also as someone on the General Legal Council. We would like to hear about the future of legal education in Ghana. Welcome, Doug.
So, Prof, founder, members of council, your lordships, and Nime Kename Kemeni Wofen when I back Bishie, you find a mimba your money. I must say that when I got here and listened to the introduction, I felt a bit intimidated. So I don't know whether I have all the confidence to still say the things I want to say, because almost all the eminent members of the board are people that I look to in various ways. Tsede and Adjei is a father, and I'm a mentee to him. He has shown me several ways of getting to the African Court on Human and People's Rights and introduced me to the African Court Coalition. And so, I recall those challenging times, he will always be there to advise. And interestingly, Senior Thaddeus, Sory, is also here, who we look up to when it comes to advocacy. Advocacy at the bar. And so it's such a privilege to be here to share a few thoughts with all of you. I believe that this university has started right, and I am so impressed. As a member of particularly the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee of Parliament that considered the Legal Education Reform Bill, which is currently undergoing consideration before Parliament, it looks like this university preempted everything that the law seeks to do and has put in place all the measures that are required to ensure that legal education is actually perfect and excellent. And for me, that is very, very commendable. I believe the current challenges of legal education in Ghana, as we all may be aware, one of the biggest current challenge is the fact that training lacks practical, or what we call experiential learning. And that is one of the reforms that the law seeks to bring. And I think I hear Prof. Chair talking about internships, because it's so important. Historically, law was learned by following lawyers to court and carrying their bags, and you continue with them until you learn the practice, because law is about practice. It's more of practice than theory. But what we've had over the years has been more geared towards academic training of people. And the only time we ever got to practice the law or do something practical was when we were doing pupillage. But now, what is happening is that by virtue of the new law, legal education is going to be experiential. So right from the word go, if you go to school and you learn the law of contract, you have to learn how to draft contracts. If you learn conveyancing, you have to learn how to draft, deeds. If you learn evidence, you have to learn all the rules of evidence and how to use them in your moot, and as you go to the various firms that you may be assigned to. For example, my firm, FX Law & Associates, currently has about 7 interns from the Ghana School of Law. And this morning, all of us were in court. Everybody is participating in the day-to-day activity that happens. Conferencing with clients, writing legal opinions, going to court with lawyers, And that, I believe, in the future is going to transform legal practice and the quality of legal practice in Ghana. And that is what the new bill that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the Honorable Attorney General seeks to bring will be doing to legal education in Ghana. The other major challenge that we've had is lack of quality of faculty. But obviously, that is not part of the challenge of this university. Because if you look at even the advisory council, it tells you the people who may even qualify to become members of faculty in this university. And so I believe that legal education in the future is going to be very experiential. It's going to be e-learning as well. Now we are moving even to technology law, AI laws, and so on and so forth. So a university that is able to incorporate this current trends into its curriculum is going to definitely lead the way. So I would encourage that as we look forward to developing curriculum that would drive agenda in the future, curriculum that would lead, maybe curriculums focused on e-learning, curriculums that is focused on economic integration policies, global policies. I believe that curriculums like that will definitely drive the agenda of the university. On this note, I want to say a very big thank you to the management of the university for inviting me to be part of today's event, and I can assure you that whatever you may need from Parliament or parliamentary level in support of your work, on behalf of the Speaker of Parliament, on behalf of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, we will be willing to accept some of your students to sit in our meetings to see how we process various laws and so on and so forth. And back in Parliament, one of the things we've been doing this week is considering a revised road traffic regulation. And making subsidiary legislation is also a skill that must be acquired. And as a ranking member of that committee, I can assure you that when your students are ready, we will welcome them so they can sit in the process and see how practically we do these, we write these laws as a way of enhancing their quality once they qualify as lawyers. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Okay, so at this point, we would like to have a word from the director, lawyer Adawudu.
Thank you, President. And I'll stand on all the existing protocols. I'm so grateful and elated. And it's a kind of mixed feeling to stand here today when I look at the chair and the members of the advisory board. Those are people that their shoes are so big to wear and even lace such a shoe, and also be at the table of men. It is only that we are grateful to God where we are today. I'll start with a little story, and it always tells us about what we say, things we say to our children. I remember in 1989-90, I had finished O-level, and I got 7 in English. My dad was up in arms, "Daddy, you are dumb," and my dad wouldn't even want to see me. So one day I had to run to my grandmother's brother, who was a reverend minister, and he said, "Oh, don't mind your father. You are a professor. You become a professor." So this after when I was putting on this one, I just remembered what he said 30 years ago, that this is beautiful. All I'll say is that, one of our philosophy and the mandate of this university is that we want to become one of the leading world-class institutions, globally empowered and serve locally to solve our problems within our society and communities. And if you look at our mandate, we are talking about life. We are talking about integrity. We are talking about innovation. We are talking about experiential learning. And these are the things that we think that you should be hands-on. It also reminds me of my secondary school. I went to the Volta University, Maoli School. Head, heart, and hands. And it's the same thing that I've come into, to train the mind, train the hands, train the heart, so that there will be transparency, there will be accountability. That at the end of the day, people who mentored us will be great to say, that is my protege. That is to tell the governing council and the board that in as much as we are with you, you are our mentors. When we are talking about the law, this is the people. The law is here. The law is in Accra Metropolitan. If we are privileged to have Supreme Court judges, and not for pecuniary reasons, but to give back to society, and they found Accra Metropolitan to be a place to start, then we are privileged. Justice Tsede, I don't know how he does it. He's everywhere. And you know, he mentors people. He's all over. And I always ask, how does this man, what kind of grace that God has given him? And we are happy to share in that grace. My mentor, Justice Jones Victor Dotse. This is a man, you know, both of them, they have been in practice for years. They have been on the bench, so they have the blend. They will give us that experiences. You know, people who write books, you know, Justice Dennis has a lot of books for students. So I don't think that we'll have a lot of the books in our faculty. Justice Osei, Tutu, has written so much on land and civil procedure. Those are the people who are going to guide us. And my senior, Thaddeus, Sory, he's a walking law report. He's a walking law report. You know, when you are in difficulty, all you need is to ring. Senior, I'm doing this case. What should I do? He will just tell you. And when you go to court and you are back, you'll be smiling. That is the kind of person we have. And we are grateful to have Professor Olivia Anku Tsede, who had also been in the chamber I used to be, Awuno Law Consultancy. This is all shows us that we have the law with us, and we will not disappoint you. For me, as a director, it's a heavy one. The tax will have to prove our mentor. We need to make sure students, the first cohort, I will assure you that law is not difficult. Law is not difficult. Law calls for consistency, determination, and persistence. Once you practice this, with consistency, it transforms an average person to become excellent. And I will assure you that you will have the best. Accra Met will become the university of excellence. People will chase us. They will seek our admission just to be said that I am a student, proud student of Accra Met. On this note, I ask that you keep us in our prayer, that as we start Accra Met, the sky will be the platform, and our students will imbibe the core values: integrity,
the most recent decisions of the course. Supreme Court can take a decision today, 10 years to come, that decision will no longer.
No, to share a few words with us.
I honestly thought I will escape this. Like the MP has said, it is humbling to be in the midst of this array of professionals. And I don't know, it seems a bit odd after my lordship has spoken to be asked to say something else. It's like turning the eyes upside down, asking a circuit court judge to sit on appeal over the decision of the Supreme Court itself. Suffice it to say, investment in education is the greatest investment any human being can make. The achievements are not going to be seen in the next few years or even in the next few decades. But the investment the founders are making in this citadel today will resonate many years after we've all exited this planet. Legal education is at the crossroads in the African continent. And as such, this advisory board have a responsibility to work in tune with what is happening globally. I'm happy the MP mentioned the era of AI, virtual learning, consideration of useful exuberance in the way we train lawyers in today's environment, cross-border litigation that is happening, many other developments that are going on around the world, and importantly, within our continent. Which kind of lawyers are suitable to the 21st century challenges are going to be seen in the faculties across this continent and how they are trained. It is important for the advisory board to remember that it is an honor, it is a responsibility, and with the caliber of people here, I believe we will be proud one day to say that this advisory board came at the right time and did their best in investing further in the children of the 21st century and beyond. When I met my former student Naomi earlier today, I said, it is not only interesting to come to Ghana, this is my first time coming to Ghana. When I was called to attend the inauguration, I said, I will not miss it for anything. So I flew in yesterday from Lagos. I have not seen Naomi in 10 years or so. So I said, this is a good time to network, meet my brothers. And I told her that we are not different. I'm a Nigerian. I studied elsewhere. I have worked elsewhere, but I'm back home in Nigeria. And I said, I felt as if I was really just in my faculty earlier today. The faces, the mannerism, the way we do things and everything is the same. It's just a geographical divide. Thank you very much for having me on the board, and I look forward to contributing my own meager share in the way these things are being done and the way they will be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. At this point, I would humbly request that we have the advisory board step forward to receive the articles of service. Respectfully, please. We call on the founder. I think we would have to come forward a little for this is Thaddeus Sory. Shall we now take our seats? Thank you so much. The first one, yes, please. I understand we would repeat that of the chairman, Sir Dennis. So you do. I'd like to acknowledge a few more people before we take the vote of thanks and recess. I would like to particularly thank our traditional leaders, the chiefs, Ni, Otusing, and I'm not calling the proper titles, but we like to acknowledge our chiefs from the Nungwa Traditional Council. We thank you for the continuous support you have given to this university. And we'd like to take the opportunity to remind you of the promise to offer the university a vast land to develop. Thank you so much. We would also like to specially acknowledge the presence of our council members. We have Dr. Joshua Caleb Mallet. And of course, we have also Dr. David Waku, who has chaired this session. On this note, we would like to invite Ms. Naomi to give us the vote of thanks, without saying that we can't leave out our police band. They are our friends, and we appreciate that they had to divide themselves for Parliament and for Accra Met. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you.
Chairman of this august occasion, Justice Dennis Adjei, their lordships, Justice Victor Maulom Dotse and Justice Alexander Osei Tutu, her ladyship, Professor Olivia Anku Tsede, and Professor Abubakar Umar, learned colleagues at the bar, including Senior Victor Kojoga Adawudu, Senior Thaddeus Sory, and Senior Xavier Sosu, Nime, Naomi, faculty, students, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is both a privilege and a profound honor to rise to deliver the vote of thanks at this formal inauguration of the Bachelor of Laws. Today has not merely been ceremonial, it has been foundational. We have witnessed the public affirmation of an intellectual commitment, a commitment to rigor, to discipline, to ethics, and to shaping the minds capable of stewarding justice in this republic. On behalf of the University Council, the Advisory Board, faculty, and the pioneering cohort of students, I extend our deepest gratitude. To our chairman, Justice Dennis Adjei, we thank you for the clarity, balance, and authority with which you have guided this occasion. Your leadership reflects the standards this program seeks to internalize. To their lordships, Justice Victor Maulom Dotse, Justice Alexander Osei Tutu, Professor Justice Olivia Anku Tsede, we are grateful for your lifelong contributions to the jurisprudence of this country. Your presence here today symbolizes the bridge between legal theory and judicial responsibility. It reminds us that what is taught in lecture halls eventually finds expression in judgments that shape lives. To our distinguished academic, Professor Abubakar Issa Umar, my former lecturer, We thank you for lending your scholarship and intellectual stewardship to this program. No law faculty succeeds without academic depth, and your involvement assures that this program is anchored in serious scholarship. To my seniors at the bar, Senior Kojoga Adawudu and Senior Thaddeus Sory, we are reminded that legal education must remain grounded in practice. The vitality of advocacy must inform the vitality of the classroom. We also extend sincere appreciation to the university leadership and the planning committee, whose work, often unseen, has brought this vision to fruition. The establishment of a law program demands regulatory precision, curricular integrity, institutional discipline, and courage. Those efforts deserve recognition. Most importantly, we thank the students. You are the first custodians of this program's reputation. Your diligence, your ethical conduct, and your seriousness of purpose will define this faculty more powerfully than any building or branding. Legal education is not merely the study of statutes and case law. It is the cultivation of judgment, the discipline of exercise reason. It is the careful handling of power. It is constitutional democracy. It is in a manner that the lawyer is not simply ornamental. In a constitutional environment such as this republic, lawyers are structural. This inauguration therefore marks not only a beginning, but a responsibility. As an advisory board, we recognize that an LLB program must be more than compliant. It must be credible. It must produce graduates capable of analytical depth, professional restraint, principled disagreement, and intellectual discipline. That is the standard we collectively commit to uphold. We are grateful to every distinguished personality who has honored this institution with their presence and confidence. Your support signals that Accra Metropolitan University is not merely introducing a program, it is entering a tradition of excellence. May this LLB program produce advocates of integrity, scholars of rigor, and custodians of justice. Thank you all for your presence, your guidance, and your confidence in this vision. God bless you, and God bless our republic.
At this point, we will call on the council rep, Dr. Waku, to pronounce this ceremony closed. And we would have the anthem and recess. Thank you.
I wish to officially call this ceremony to an official closing. Thank you very much.